welcome to my tutorial for make one left and make one right. These two increases are used in all kinds of patterns, and they're not hard. It's just that it's hard to remember which one is which. So I hope that with this video we will solve that once and forever, and you will never have to confuse them ever again. So this is just a little sample swatch. I cast on 10 and did a couple increases at the bottom, and now I've got some make ones on the left and make ones on the right for the bottom of my Nearly Spring capelet. So let's have a look. So the make one left and right are a lifted increase, and I'll show you what that means in a minute. And you'll see that here are my main cast on stitches, and then right here out of the edging there grows an extra column and another extra column and another extra column, and these are growing out and pushing the stitches outwards on both the left and the right hand sides. So this pattern has a 3-stitch garter edging, so I'll work that first. In this case it's a slip 1 and then knit 2. Oops. And then we're going to either make one left or right. So there are two different things to concern yourself with about make one left and right. One is which way do you go in to make it left versus right? And also, how do you know if left or right goes at either end of the work? So we will address both of those. For a lifted increase, all you're going to do is, it's usually easiest to use your right needle tip to grab, but you're going to put it on your left. You're going to grab this bar that's right between the two knit stitches, and you're going to place it onto your left needle. So you're kind of making yourself a yarn over. And the question is, do you drop it on over the needle so that it slants around to the back, or do you drop it on under the needle so that it slants around to the back facing that direction? And I will tell you the secret, the absolute secret, so you never have to wonder anymore, is you look at the leg that's on top of the needle. So this part is on the top, this part of the stitch is at the back. So you're going to look at the top. Is this slanting rightwards or leftwards? Whichever way the top of the strand is slanting, that is the direction the stitch is, and that's what it's called. So right now in this configuration, it is slanting up and to the left. That is a left slanting increase. If we went in the other direction and dropped it on like this, the front of the strand is slanting towards the right. We don't care about the back. Slanting towards the right, so it's a right lifted increase, or a make one right. Make one left, points left. Make one right, points right. So when you're reading through your pattern and you see make one left and then go on and do something else, when you go to make it, all you have to do is set the strand on and see, does that look like a left or a right? Well, that's slanting to the right, and so that one's a right, that one's a left. The second part to completing the stitch is how you knit it. If you've been knitting for any time at all, you know that when you knit regular into a yarn over, I'll just do this one as if it was a yarn over, it leaves this great big hole. And then when we come back on the return row, it would leave a nice big hole because yarn overs are for eyelets. Lifted increase is generally invisible. The instructions are to make it invisible. All that means is instead of knitting into the front of the stitch and leaving it wide open, you will always knit it twisted. All right, so if this is a left slanting increase, we can't open it up. So we're just going to reach through and grab it from the back and knit it. And that twists that big piece we just picked up so that it will be as closed as possible. It may not be 100% perfectly the same as the rest of the stockinette, but it's as closed as you can possibly make it. Okay, so we'll knit a couple more, get out of the way, have a look there, and you can see that this nice little line, yes, it's different because we made a stitch, but it's all nice and close together. So that was our make one left. And we'll go over to the other side here. I have to leave myself 3 edge stitches for my garter, so I've got one more to go. Time for my increase. So I don't even have to really think about it ahead of time. I can just throw one on there and then say, is this left or right? I see this one is left. I would like this one to be right. So I'll put it on this direction, and it's slanting to the right. Now to knit this, if this was a yarn over and we knit it back here, it would stretch this stitch all out. We don't want it stretched out, we want it closed. I find for this one I usually have to pick the forward bit a little bit open, and then I'm going to twist over here so that when I knit it, it will be a closed stitch. Whoops, I got a little extra thread there. Get off of there. So that twists this stitch closed so that it's nearly invisible. It's right there. It's that tiny little bump. And it works great at the end of garter edging because the little bump that it makes for the crossover actually lines right up with that edging. All right, the other thing is, how do you know whether to use right or left in your project? So in my project, it's pretty even and clear because we have edging stitches and then we have center stitches, and those two are different from each other, and so this analogy will work for my pattern. In your pattern, you'll just have to look at the stitches and see if there's a rhyme or reason that you can detect for the stitches. So for mine, I've got my 3 edge garter stitches over here, and I'm ready to make one either left or right, and I have to know which one it is. When you make one left, so we're going to put it on this way, it's going to slant towards the left. The stitch you make will be on the left of this in-betweeny spot, right? We're between stitches, we're creating a new stitch out of nothing. Which way will it go? So when I go to make mine, I'm going to say, do I want a new garter stitch, which is on my right, or do I want a new stockinette stitch, which is on my left? Well, I've already got my 3 garters. I'm adding to this stockinette center. So I'm going to make a left, slanting left, knitting it twisted, and it is adding to the stitches on the left. And when we get here, we're between stitches. I have my garter stitches on the left and my stockinette on the right, and here's my bar to lift. And which way would I like it? If I knit left, I will be pointing this direction as if I was adding to garter stitches. That's not what I want in this pattern. In this pattern, I need to slant it to the right to add to the section on the right, which is my stockinette. And I'll knit it twisted. I usually pull it out to give myself a little bit of space to get in there, and knit it on the right. So I hope that this little tutorial will help you know how to determine your make one lefts from your make one rights, which direction they go, always knit them twisted, and which side of the project they go on, so that you can remember for yourself and not have to refer back to the pattern and the description all the time. Good luck with all your knitting.